Hi everyone, Emily here from Emily's Excellent Epics, and today I have for you a mid-month wrap-up. Now, normally I don't do mid-month wrap-ups, but with it being the amazing readathon that I'm participating in, Go Team Lore Keepers. The Amazing Readathon is a readathon sponsored by or created by Bree over at Four Paws in a Book. So I'm participating in that, and it is summer, so I have a little bit more time to read because I have summer off. And being single, no job during the summer. I'm a teacher. No being single, no kids. I have a little bit of extra time. I do, although next week I will be working hard on. I have a new health curriculum, so I will be working on that, updating all of my guided notes, and they're going to be doing roof work on my place, so I need to hightail it out of my apartment for like several days because the pounding is going to drive me bonkers and give me a migraine. So without further ado, I want to get started because there are two books that I do want to talk about a little bit more than I might normally talk about. There's a part of me that debates like doing a separate review for them, but I don't know. So we first started off, I've got my handy dandy book planner here. We first started off going to the city of Oz, and so we had to read a book with a green cover, and I started reading The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd Jones. I did not finish reading The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd Jones. I pushed to get through it to 50%, and then I DNF'd it. Reason why? I really kind of struggled with keeping track of who was who and what was what. I think in part the names were different. It reminded me of like Gaelic or Welsh. I don't know what the inspiration was for the names. Let me kind of back up. The whole premise is that these two kingdoms come together and they sponsor this like hunt, and it's a magical hunt, and if you can win it, then you can get a boon. And three different people join the hunt, and for three very different reasons. And I didn't really connect with any of the main characters, and we don't start the hunt until halfway through the book. So there's all this lead up to the hunt, and by the time I got to the hunt, I was just kind of like, I don't really care what happens during this hunt. I just don't care. And there was a part of me that kind of cared a little bit. So I guess there was a little bit of caring. But when I thought about, oh man, I'm going to have to read 200 more pages to figure out who wins the hunt, I just didn't want to do it. So I DNF'd it. Because I was at 50%, I was able to log what I had read for points. And then I picked up a sightseeing book. And I picked so each leg, we have different sightseeing prompts. So the sightseeing book that I picked up was The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie McKasey. And the prompt was a book that a host has given 5 stars to. And this was just absolutely delightful. First of all, let me pull, like the illustrations, I just think are so beautiful. And each page, there's just something that's I feel like every page there's like some like quotable that I was just like, ooh, I need a printout of that so I could like frame it and like put it in my office or at my school. Like for example, one of the quotes is, "Being kind to yourself is one of the greatest kindness," said the mole. Or "I learned how to be in the present." "How?" asked the boy. "I find a quiet spot and shut my eyes and breathe." "That's good, and then?" "Then I focus." "What do you focus on?" "Cake," said the mole. Like, it's just so beautiful. So, love that. 5 stars. Then our next prompt was, where did we go to? It was like a word with violence in it. So we went to Basgiath. So Basgiath is the war college in Fourth Wing. And our prompt was a violent word in the title. And I read The Sword of Kaigan, which is a Theonite war story by M.L. Wong. I'm trying not to cry. 5 stars. So good. Like, right now, easily the best book that I have read all year. Easily. And I've read 5 stars before this. But this right now is the best book so far that I've read all year. And with the irony of this is, like, I was going to read this last year for the Amazing Readathon. I just ran out of time. And why did I wait so long? It's just so good. So, this is a epic fantasy novel, and it's actually set in the future on a different planet, which that was kind of wild. It's very subtle that's kind of how it takes place, but you find it. And we follow Misaki and Mamoru. And I probably mispronounced their names. I apologize. So Misaki is a mother, and she, when she was in her teens, she went to a different planet and she studied, or not a different planet, she went to a different area of the planet and she studied to be a Theonite. And Theonites are, they're fighters for the Empire. And they also have special, like, kind of avatarish type abilities. So some can control fire, some can control wind, some can control water, some can control blood. And so she kind of gets involved in some impetuous, impulsive things with her sword fighting abilities. And she ends up married. It's an arranged marriage. And she has 4 sons that she now is raising. And so she has to put aside her past to make this life that she didn't necessarily want. Mamoru is her oldest son. He's 14, and he is studying to, be a Theonite. And in his family, they are very powerful, and they are water wielders. They can, like, make ice. They can use, like, water as a weapon. And one of the things that his family is known for is what's called the Whispering Blade. And that Whispering Blade can hold up to, it doesn't get that ice blade that they can make. It can stand up against a sword. Okay, it cannot be cut by a sword, and so he needs to master that. It's part of his family legacy. And then one day, enemy forces arrive at their doorstep, and they have to fight against these enemy forces. So there are battle scenes. Imagine what comes with war and fighting, and what happens to women and children because of that war and that fighting. That is depicted in here. It's not graphic, but that does happen in this book. So I just wanted to give that trigger warning. So this book isn't just about that fight and defending family, but it's also about what to do when your vision of what reality is and what you've been told by people does not match with reality. What to do how to reconcile, I can't say that because that would be spoilery. How to reconcile your past and move forward into a future, the present and the future. It was just beautiful, heartbreaking, beautiful, inspiring, moving. Like, just all the superlatives. It is a standalone, so that's awesome. It's 611 pages long, but it reads so fast and it's just so good. I can't wait to reread this, and I'm looking forward to reading Blood Over Brighthaven. So 5 stars. Right. Then we next went to the capital of Panem, and our prompt was read it like an over-the-top book cover. So, like, some people might think like special editions, or one thing she said is like, read a cover where like it reminds you of something that people at the Capitol might wear. And so for that, I read Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. And this is book 2 in like the Something of the Nile series duology. So this is the second book in the duology. And I enjoyed What the River Knows. I gave this 2 stars. Here's why. This might be a little spoilery. Okay, so first of all, it follows, I need to back up. It follows Inez Oliveira, and she travels to Egypt when she gets word from her uncle that her parents have died. Her parents are Egyptologists. So this takes place, she travels from Argentina to Egypt. So this takes place in the 1800s, and it deals with, the UK and Americans coming in and basically stealing all these artifacts from basically cemeteries and stealing them for profit, okay? And so Inez has trust issues because there have been some deceptive things done by her relatives. I won't say who. And she meets someone who says, hey, I'm your sister. And Wit is a character, like the romantic interest. And Wit is like, I doubt this person. I doubt this person is telling you the truth. And she's like, oh, no, she's my sister. So of course she's trustworthy and reliable. And she keeps harping on Wit for why are you not trusting her? And I'm like, girl, you have been betrayed by everyone. Doesn't matter if she's your sister. You've been betrayed by your family. So why are you saying, oh, she's my sister, so therefore she's trustworthy? You've been betrayed by your family members. Why are you saying she's trustworthy? Stupid. I also felt like the villain in this was very mustachy twirly and not nuanced. And like, there's a comment that Whit makes at one point in time where he's like, I see these disguises, that this person has, like these different things that could be used as disguises, but he's not quite sure what it all means. Clearly, it means that he's disguising himself as somebody. So, like the people were just so stupid. I was just like, really? Like, come on. It just was absolutely infuriating. So hence why I gave this 2 stars. I was so disappointed in it. And I will be getting rid of this. I will be getting rid of the first one because there's no way I'm going to read it again. And it's a shame because I think the covers are just so beautiful. Then where did we go? Then we went to the Shire. So, and the prompt for that was read a cozy book, like it could be, or a comfort read. So, and you can, loose interpretations, like it could be a cozy fantasy or a cozy mystery, or just like something that gives you cozy vibes. And I read a cozy fantasy. So I read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and I loved this book, 4.5 stars. So in this book we follow Kiala, and she is a librarian, and she works at the Capitol, and there's a rebellion going on. So she and Kaz, who's a sentient spider plant, they flee the Capitol, and she takes all these like 5 crates worth full of books, of spell books, and we live in a society where using spells is only allowed if you are a sorcerer, and she is not. So her taking these spell books away, that's illegal, and she could be executed for it. So she goes back to the island and the cottage where she grew up as a young girl, and she moves in and she lives there, and she meets a variety of people. Of course, found family, cozy vibes, right? And it just, I felt like it really had a lot to say about who has access to knowledge, who has access to books and the power of books, um, the power of family, what it means to be at home. And so I really enjoyed this. I liked this better actually than Legends and Lattes because I feel like there was higher of a stakes in Legends and Lattes that allowed the plot to move forward. So it was, yes, it was cozy, but it also had plot. I forgot to mention while she's at, she turns her family home into a jam shop um, because she needs as a way to make a living because she needs to be able to support herself. Um, yeah, really good. All right, and then we went to the wall, and we're still on this leg currently. So we're on the wall leg, where the wall from A Song of Fire and Ice, or no, A Song of Ice and Fire. Um, and so you have to read a book that is set in or that is set in a chilly location or is chilling, meaning like it could be a thriller or a murder or a horror, or it has a chilly cover or a chilling cover. Okay. So I read Any Trope But You by Victoria Levine. And this we follow Margot, and she is a romance author, very successful romance author, but she doesn't believe in happily ever afters. And so what she does to help get out of her system, she has what's called the happily never after file, where she takes the endings of her popular books and she rewrites them to what she think would really happen in reality, because she has been burned by so many different men in her life. And she also takes care of her chronically ill sister. And one day, someone hacks into her computer and exposes this happily never after file to the world. And so, of course, she loses respect from her publishing company and her fans. And so, what she does is her sister signs her up to go to this Alaskan, like, wilderness expedition retreat. And she has to go there, and she's going to work on her next novel that's going to be set in Alaska, but it's going to be a mystery novel. She's trying to reinvent herself and salvage her career. And while there, she meets Forrest, who is the son of the owner of the resort, and he has come back from California. What was I going to say? He's there because his father suffered an accident, an injury, and requires care. But he gave up a very successful career researching breast cancer. And so they meet, and it's a romance. So there you go. You kind of can go from there. The reason where the title fits in Any Trope But You is because he kind of, like, all of the romance tropes are featured in this book. Okay. I enjoyed the relationship that Margot has with her sister Savannah. I enjoyed the relationship that she develops with Forrest. I enjoyed all the nods to the tropes. What I did not enjoy was the insta-lust moving very quickly into insta-love. I thought that was very quick. I did not enjoy. It was a little too. It was. I would say about a 3 on the spice level. There's 3 pretty racy, spicy open door scenes. Just so you're aware of that. What else was I going to say I didn't like? I wanted more development of some of her backstory, and more development of his backstory. I felt like it could have been developed a little bit more. Um, but I did enjoy this book. I would give it a 4 star. All right, then I had time to finish up a sightseeing book, and so because I arrived at my destination before the next leg drops, you can do some sightseeing around the area. So I read Alana the First Adventure, and this features a morally gray character. And this is by Tamora Pierce. This is the first book in the Song of the Lioness series. It's the first book that she's written and published. And this follows Alana, who at age 11 or 12, she is going to be sent to, not the capital. She's going to be sent to a city and like the cloisters where she's going to study how to be a lady. So she's going to study, music and dancing and fine manners and all that, how to run a household. Whereas her brother Tom is going to be sent to study a knight. However, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to study magic and become a sorcerer. She doesn't want to study how to be a lady. She likes fighting. She wants to be a knight and serve the realm of Tortal as a knight. And so she comes up with a plan like, hey, Tom, let's switch places. And I'll disguise myself as a boy, and then I'll go to the capital. I'll study to be a knight. You can then go off to the cloisters and study to be a sorcerer. So that's what they do. And this follows her journey in studying to be a knight as a page. She's a page in this book, and just what all that means. I would say this book is middle grade, on the upper level of middle grade. And she meets a wonderful cast of characters. She trains with the Prince of the Realm, Jonathan. She meets the Prince of Thieves, George. I love Jonathan. I love George. She meets a father figure, Miles, who is a professor there, and it's just delightful. And then I read for Face Off Weekend, which you get, the goal is to read just as many books as you can to fit certain prompts, and each book that you read, you get a point for your team, and whoever you'll get, I'm not explaining this, so you get points for your team for each book that you read, and at the end of Face Off Weekend, the points are calculated, and the winning team gets 40 points, second place team gets 30 points, third place team gets 20 points, and so on and so forth, added to their overall score. So this is book 2 in the Song of the Lioness by Tamora Pierce and the Hand of the Goddess. And now in this book, Alana is a squire, and she is Jonathan's squire. Jonathan is now a knight. Alana is his squire. She is still studying to become a knight, and she is still disguised as a boy. And in this book, she begins to face, like in the first book, she had to face more and more, like, you're a female, and what does that mean, and how for your life. In this book, she learns more. She has to deal with that more and more as reality hits and nature. You can't stop nature, and the implications of that. We do start getting romance and love interests in here, and intimacy within that relationship. So that's why I would say this is now, I'd say, young adult. It's not on screen or on page, but we do know that it's there. And not only is she facing all of that, she has to face at the end of this book what's called the ordeal, which is a test that she has to go through to become a knight. So she has to deal with that. And then also there are forces out there that are threatening the realm of Tortal. And not only just the realm itself, but the royal family. And it could be someone close to that royal family. So, and how does she deal with that? So, really, like I said, the first, for me, Tamora Pierce is just like my comfort read and 5 stars. And then, last but not least, so far this week, this month, I read The Firelight Apprentice, which is a graphic novel by Bree Paulson. Bree Paulson also wrote Garlic and the Vampire and Garlic and the Witch. I've not read Garlic and the Witch, but I did read and loved Garlic and the Vampire. And in this one, we follow Ada and Safi. And Ada is the older sister, Safi is the younger sister. And Ada's mother, Ada and Safi's mother, has passed away. She was a magician in this realm where they use magic to fight against evil forces and like a war, and I guess that's what happened. And Safi has magical abilities and needs to be trained in those abilities. But there is a magical creature, I don't remember what they're called. Like, hold on. They are called, there's like a warning sign for them at some point in time. I don't know. They're these magical creatures that what they want to do is they want to suck all of the magical ability from magicians and like leave them bone dry. So they have to protect her from that. Meanwhile, their father is ill because their father can make light bulbs, and the process for making them like is very damaging. So they do find someone to train her in magic, and then just the implications of that. And yeah, it was cute. I did not feel like that the world was really big and developed. The magic system was not really big and developed. The history behind like the war, that was not really developed. It was I would say this is a lower middle grade. On the back it says ages 10 and up. I would definitely say this is definitely lower middle grade. It does deal with grief and loss of parents. One due to war, one due to illness. But it's the illustrations I just think are beautiful. Like, let me find. Like, I don't know, I just think the illustrations are beautiful. Super fast read. I did enjoy it. I would give it a 4-star. Whew. And that is my month so far. We're already at 30 minutes, so I'm really glad I did a mid-month wrap-up. Tell me, have you read any of these books? Or what book have you read this month so far that you have really enjoyed? Are you participating in any readathons? If you have made it this far and you're not sure how to answer any of those questions, you're just not, or you don't really want to leave a comment, please leave a tree emoji, because I'm on Team Lore Keepers. And as always, hit the notification button, like, subscribe, all those things help the channel grow. Thank you so much for watching.